Come on. Wichito. Hajime. Come on. Again. Yeah, man. Yeah, a couple things. How long you been here? How long you been doing it?
About 4 years, sir.
About 4 years. 4 years you've had your whole right? In that 4 years, you have heard us talk about timing. You have heard us talk about making the kata your own. I can guarantee it because I remember having that conversation. Yet you're going to stand here in front of me today and do Goho no Uki. Like a bleeding white belt plowing a field. Now, how was he? This is just you. So, we got all night. Take your time. I want to see Brandon's kata. I don't want to see Goho no Uki. I want to see Brandon doing Goho no Uki.
Post.
Now, also, feet. Not 2 feet moving. 1 foot moving. Goho no Uki.
Post.
Front stand Shiko. Front stand Shiko. Front stand Shiko. Not Shiko, 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 Shiko. All right, again. Hajime.
Post.
Yeah, man. When you walk down, can you see my toes from there?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, when you walk down the street, do you walk like this with your toes up? You better not.
Yes, sir.
No, nobody does. Then why do you think it's a good idea suddenly to be doing this in a kata? You're gripping with the toes, part of the kime. Huh? So as I'm here, this foot's still gripping. Here. Foot doesn't move. I don't know what that is all of a sudden tonight. Again.
Post.
What? Oof.
Oh, I saw that video.
Oh, oof. Come on. We'll save that for a second. All right, Hajime.
Post.
Yes. Back. Young man. And again, Hajime. Young man. Good. When we talk about making kata our own, well, I'm not even going to say it that way. You're now what? 2nd degree brown, right?
Post.
Another couple years, black belt. Right?
Post.
What is the difference between a brown belt and a white belt?
I would say how much control they have, sir.
How much control they have. Okay.
Also, how much knowledge they contain.
How much
Knowledge.
knowledge? Okay.
Yeah, protection, sir.
If I go, I'm trying to think we got any anymore. I don't think we have any white belts your size. Well, let's just say back in the day when we did have a white belt that was your size. Strip your boat down to shorts and t-shirt, throw you out here, have you do Goho no Uki, Should anybody be able to stand up here and go, oh yeah, there's the white belt, there's the brown belt? No, they shouldn't. So you're saying a day one white belt, dressed identically to a 4-year plus brown belt, should look exactly the same doing Goho no Uke.
They shouldn't look exactly the same, sir.
Okay? So somebody standing up here who did not know those two people should be able to see the two of them and go, yeah, that's a white belt, that's a brown belt. Yes or no?
And they should.
If you answered, I didn't hear you.
Still trying to think, sir.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. It's just you're backlit. I can't really see your eyes. Plus the mask, it takes a lot away some of my visual cueing, so it's hard for me to tell unless I hear you. That's fine. Okay, let me add this on there. If there is no difference between a day one white belt and a 4-year plus brown belt, why would we bother staying here for more than a week? Why isn't this a week-long class and then you move on?
I guess there is a difference, sir.
Because there is a difference, absolutely. Now, what is that difference? Or what should be the difference?
Knowledge and experience, sir.
Okay? How does that translate visually?
How, I can think of it, I can think what it is, I just can't say it.
Well, we got all night, so either find the words or show me. Or in some way communicate it to me, other than telepathically. That was a joke. You can laugh at my joke.
I want to say how much they know about the product and also how much they personalize the product, sir.
Okay? You're absolutely right. But again, what does that look like?
I wouldn't say.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. I just want something more specific.
How correctly they memorize their mistakes, so they can memorize the mistakes and do better next time.
Not memorize, recognize. I'll buy that. We don't want to memorize mistakes. That's just bad juju. As we progress, all of us, we start to internalize all of the little things that make a correct technique. No human can absorb the totality of anything in one sitting. Are you familiar with the statue of the thinker? You know that
I
statue?
believe I know what you're talking about.
He's sitting down
Yes.
doing that.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that one? Okay. Whether this is a true story or not, I don't know, but I like it because it's germane to teaching and germane to our point now. The sculptor was being interviewed, and the person interviewing him asked him, like, how do you, because that wasn't his only piece, he did a whole bunch of other pieces. How do you create such beautiful sculpture? And the guy said, I don't. The sculpture is already there. I just move away the messy bits. And that, in and of itself, is the martial arts. The totality of all martial arts, the totality of all things is in every one of them. But we get in our own way. So, looking at a white belt, it's messy. Elbows are wrong, knees are wrong, toes are wrong, stuff like that. As you progress, those messy bits go away, and it gets cleaner and cleaner and cleaner until you start looking like these guys, where their messy bits are fine powder. You know, the rest of us are still knocking big chunks off, kind of thing. So, having said all of that, when you first started, feet are everywhere. You were showing me white belt Goho no Uki. I don't know why. You're better than that. Show me that. Now, here's the other thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying get harder, get stiffer, get projecting strength, and that's not what I'm saying. Because when I told you to make the kata your own, you did exactly what a white belt does. You threw the punch harder. You tried to go faster. That's not making the kata your own. That's trying to project something. I don't know what. I still haven't been able to put words to it. I did it as a white belt, as junior belt. Everybody does it. You're past that. You're better than that. So what I want to see is Brandon Goho no Uki. I want to see your power, not strength, power. Different. I want to see your timing. Your timing is not, no. I'm guaranteed nobody's timing is jackrabbit fast, straightforward. Nobody. I want to see your interpretation of the kata. Because timing will depend on how you think about the kata. For example, in its basic format, I like Goho no Uki as pairs. 2 moves, 2 moves, 2 moves. Bunkai sets that way. Xian James is a big fan of 3 for this kata. Also, he's a big fan of ascending and descending timing. I like those timings, it's just not my favorite, so it's not how I internalize it. Show me how you do it.
Yes, sir.
Hajime. Yeah, man. That is what I'm talking about. Empiropo.
Europa.
Hajime. Yeah, man. Again. Hajime. Yeah, man. Do me a favor. Take your pant legs. I want you to roll them up so they're just above your knees. Do one more roll. I want to see your kneecaps. There you go. Again. Hajime. Yeah, man. Ten no kata.
Tarakana.
Hajime. Yeah, man. Scoot over a little bit. Okay. Back up 1 square. Step out of left front stance, left turnover punch. Hey. Step and punch. Hey. Step back and punch. Hey. Step and punch. Hey. I want you to do that at a slow rhythm 10 times. How'd you make? Come on. Okay, stay right there. I want you to do the same thing, but this time I want you to step forward and drive the punch.
Listen.
Both sides. You know, step forward, drive the punch, step back, drive the punch.
Listen.
How'd you make? Keep going. Sorry. All right, go ahead. Yo. Ten no kata.
Terakata.
Hajime. Go ahead. Chino kata.
Terakata.
Hajime. Go ahead. Muichido.
Listen.
Hajime. Yeah, man. A little bit. So one more. Good, there we go. When you were doing the drill, the punch drill I had you doing, do you think differently about your stancing when you're doing that versus when you're doing kata, or do you think about them the same, or you don't think about it at all, you just do it?
Personally, sir, I think about them differently.
Okay? Please explain.
For some reason, since I don't have, since all I know is that I'm only doing the same two movements and then doing the forward and back,
Uh-huh.
I feel like I've got enough time to correct myself on it. Well, a little bit more time. Since they're the same two movements. On kata, I feel like I have, since I have a variety of different things, I feel like I have multiple things to correct. Or at least acknowledge that I made mistakes.
Interesting. Very self-aware. I like that. That was a better answer than I was expecting. So when you're doing, correct me if I'm wrong, when you're doing kata, you're thinking about making corrections
Well,
more than actually doing the technique? Or did I misinterpret what you said?
pretty close to what I basically said. So,
Okay. What is it about focusing on potential corrections that seems more important to you than just performing the technique?
To be honest, sir, the forcing of correction feels more like a force and habit in mine, because I do understand that doing the technique is important, but I also am aware that correcting is also important, but I still believe the technique is important, but it's a force, but for some reason it's a force and habit in mine just to make sure to do this, make sure to do that. You fail on this part.
Okay.
This part.
We need to work on that, and here's why. A whole host of reasons. The reason I had you roll your pant legs up is as you were doing the first few kata, we've talked about it before, how you roll your ankle and roll your knee and how that's going to affect you later in life if you don't correct this. But I noticed after a while, and now after hearing what you just said, why this was happening makes perfect sense. When you're doing the kata, you're real bad. Your knee alignment is horrible. You're doing all kind of craziness on your ankles, and trust me, you will not believe me for another 30 years, but by the time you're up here teaching, a little bit of gray in your hair, and you go, oh yeah, that's why that knee's hurting today. Sensei told me. That's why that ankle don't work quite so well. Sensei tried to tell me. That's why I had you do that drill, because I wanted to see there's a difference between natural skeletal alignment or a muscular imbalance versus overthinking things. So that's why I had you do that drill. When you're doing that drill, you're doing it slow, your alignment was perfect. Your ankles were straight, your knees were straight, perfect alignment, perfect generation of power, perfect balance. That's why I had you throw power, because I wanted to see, well, maybe it's a power thing. When you start throwing power, still, knees are in perfect alignment, ankles are in perfect alignment. Great technique. We get to kata, all of a sudden your legs are all over the place. Until you got to the very end of Chino kata. And then those last two moves, your stances were back to square again. Perfect again. And now, having heard what you said, now it makes perfect sense, because I could see your brain engaged through most of it, but when you get to those two motions, there's something about those last two motions in Chino kata that you don't have to think about. So your leg straightens out. So you are overthinking things so much that while you're performing move A, you're already trying to correct move D, which hasn't even come yet. And it shows up in your legs, which is typical. Now, most people, when they do that, they shorten motions. You execute full motion, but you're thinking only from basically the waist up. And if you're thinking about what you have to correct 2 moves from now, that's what's going to destroy your knees and ankles by the time you're middle-aged. Right? Plus, it's a bad habit in general, because I'm sure if you do it here on the floor, you do it at school. I did. Been where you are, trust me. I understand that. One of his favorite sayings, which I will take to my grave: it is better wrong and strong than weak and right. And by that, I don't mean, by strong, I mean strong technique. Strong, good, perfect technique. Mistakes, we fix later. Not in the middle of a kata. And trust me, somebody's throwing fists and feet, and you're thinking about what you're screwing up, you're done. Trust me. Been there, done that. You need to be in the moment. If you're stepping forward to throw Rising block, well, we'll take Chino Kata. Your first move is a step back, pivot, rising block. That is your moment. That is all you need to worry about. The punch coming up doesn't matter. Because what it's doing is you're already thinking about the punch, and that's why your stance is all jacked up, because your feet are already trying to get to what your brain is thinking about. So, ideally, things that I'm working on, is being in that Mushin mind frame, that non-fixated brain, that reflexive brain.
I believe I know what you're talking about. I think you told us about this once. Like when you're driving home.
Right.
I don't drive yet, so I don't know about that. But you did told us once that sometimes when you drive home, seriously, you're at your driveway and you realize, hey.
Yeah, oh, I'm home, yeah. Well, I'll tell you one, it just happened the other day at work. My boss had a coffee cup on the edge of her desk. I'm in there for a meeting, we're chatting, blah, 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 blah. And she talks with her hands. She bumped it. I caught it just as it went off of the, not like midair, but just as it teetered, I caught it set back on her desk without breaking conversation. Now if I had to stop and think, oh, disengage from the conversation, look at the cup is falling, engage it, had coffee all over. But all of that processes subconsciously. These lower kata should already be subconscious. You shouldn't need to think about, okay, it's a rising block, a punch, and a down block. No, it is just Chino Kata. Now, Scott, you guys remember Scott? He'll probably kill me if he hears this analogy, but it's the best one I can think of. When I was in high school, now, I do not program computers. I took one class in high school on basic programming. That's the extent of my computer programming. And that class was basically, it was one line, one command. So, like for a human being, it would be first line, turn head. Second line, move foot. Third line, that kind of thing. Bump, 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 bump. That's what I'm talking about. That's kind of how you're thinking right now, except you're thinking turn head and move feet. Your programming is off a little bit. It is my understanding that they have created like bulk packet program command. So when it gets to command A, it does like 15 things at once. That's how the human body needs to work, but without realizing it. So for us, like in Chino Kata, to make this first motion, what did I have to consciously think about? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't have to stop and think, okay, make your head turn. Make the foot step back. The brain tells the body to go there, so the body goes there. That's where you need to start working on and being in that package only. Not, okay, I'm doing Chino Kata, 4 moves from now I'm going to be doing a down block. And I'm probably going to screw up the footing, so yeah, you're going to screw up the footing because you're already thinking in the wrong spot. Does any of this make sense, or am I just up here talking to myself?
I think it makes sense. So
Okay, good. All right, there's something else. What was it?
we just finished Chino Kata.
Right. All of that to say this. Your stances need to be like they are when we were doing this drill. Knees and ankles straight, not this crazy roll to the inside. Because literally when you were doing like Empiropo, you were rolling your foot so far to the inside, I don't know if you could feel it, but this part of your ankle bone was touching the mat. No human being should do that, especially if you're going to try and drive power. You will damage something significantly. All right. Chino Kata.
Chino Kata.
Hajime. Much better. Come on. Get on shoulder.
Get on shoulder.
Adjuvant. Keep going. Come in. There were a couple spots where you let that leg go funky. Again, get on shoulder.
Close.
Adjuvant. Remember, eyes, feet, hip, hands. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Come in. Better. Remember, eyes, feet, hip, hand, right? A lot of times you're turning blind. Eyes, feet, hip, hand.
Close.
Rope a hole.
Rope a hole.
Adjuvant. Come in. Much better, much better. Again, rope a hole.
Close.
Adjuvant. Come in. Good. This applies to all techniques, but we'll just use punch as an example. What order and in what direction does each of the individual parts of your body move in order to throw a punch?
I say the opposite direction of the punch is going, I'm guessing.
That's not what I'm asking. I'll explain better. The individual parts of your body, toes, feet, legs, hips, shoulders, belly, brain, eyes, fingers, tongue, lips, individual parts of your body, right? Okay. In what order and in what direction do they move, beginning from step one to the apex of the punch, move, direction and order to make that happen?
The same way you get my speed hip hand, son?
Okay? Yes. More specific. I want smaller pieces. Okay, let's talk about the apex for a second. I'll give you the end point. You can give me the rest of it. As the punch is moving forward, the shoulder is rotating, which extends the elbow, palm up at a certain point of elbow angle. The forearm begins to rotate, we make impact. As we finish extending, the forearm rotates into the punch. The punch may, depending upon your experience, change angle slightly. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I want you to start from the very beginning of how that happens.
Well, I believe, sir, that starts. I could be wrong here.
Okay, stop. Okay. You have the same bad habit that I've been trying to correct out of myself for a very long time. Stop starting. There is no need to begin any type of explanation with "I could be wrong," unless it's for a strategic purpose. You seem to do it out of habit. It's very self-deprecating, and I would prefer that you not do it. I would prefer that you be confident and proud in your answer. It could be complete wrong and complete BS. Been there, done that. That's not the point. But the point is that whatever comes out of your mouth, you need to believe and be confident in.
So I believe that it first goes through the feet and up through the body, out into the apex of the wall. As the apex of the wall starts twisting. So through the feet, through the body, and forwards. This connection.
Absolutely correct. But I want more specific. When you say it comes up from the feet, what is it, and at what part of the foot, and in what direction does that part of the foot go?
If you were to kind of see power, but it possibly come, but it does possibly come from this side. Wait a second, start.
No, wait. I'm just trying to keep us on track. You're absolutely correct in what you're saying. It's not answering my question, so you're not wrong. You're absolutely correct. But what I want is more of a physical description of my toe does this, my foot does that, etc., etc.
So the foot goes forward, and as it does that, as it enters the foot towards the legs, it goes through the body up to.
What is it?
Power, sir.
Okay.
It goes through the body all the way to the arm. As you begin to pull this arm back, and you allow this one to go forward. While that happens, the arm begins to twist right when it makes contact with the opponent. So.
Okay. What about the back foot? That's the kind of thing I'm looking for, and you were correct in what you were saying. But what about the back foot?
Stabilize the body, sir?
Yes. What else?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. Excellent answer. I like that. If you don't know, you don't know. So. If I'm here, and I'm going to throw this punch, what at this point are my feet doing?
Twisting?
My feet aren't twisted. Okay, for me, foot twist is this. So from here, I'm going to throw. What are my feet doing? Feet cannot lean forward. Okay. Now, I want you to take a breath because I can see this going different ways. Okay, I'm putting a lot on you today. You can handle this because there's no stress here. You're doing great. Do not get frustrated that you're doing something wrong because you're not. You're doing very well today. And you're accomplishing a lot whether you realize it or not. Okay, so there's no reason to get frustrated. Okay? This is learning. This is not anything past that. So, I'm standing here. I'm getting ready to throw my punch. What's the first thing my feet do? Or what should they have already been doing, actually?
Gaining the power, sir?
How? Yes, how? By gripping. So, toes grip, the feet grip. That's the first thing. As the power proceeds up the legs, as the calves engage, the quads engage, which allows me to a stable platform for my hip rotation. At what angle is that power coming out of my feet? Or coming up through my feet, not out of my feet, up through my feet.
I would just say straight up, sir.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not that difficult. Right. Okay, okay. We went through all that exercise to get to that answer, to get to this point. So, as I drive, let's say I'm going to do more of a sparring type thing. Now, here, right? Which way did my foot twist? It twisted on an axis that is perpendicular to the ground, basically, straight up and down. Okay? It does not twist. I'm not sure I can get my body to do this. This way. It doesn't like smear on the ground. Right? It is a direct rotation, just like my hips. Right? My hips don't do this kind of thing, right? Here. So when you're throwing your technique, one of the things that's going to help you with that leg alignment is to think about that. You are literally pivoting on basically that thumb knuckle ball of your foot. And at no time does it twist this way. It is, if I'm doing Goho no Uki, this way, not that. Okay? So think about that. Think about drilling a nail right through the top of your foot, and that's what you're pivoting around. No?
Can I see that one more time, sir? Just
Sure. The Goho no Uki or the punching?
Go on.
Okay, I'm going to do it off of this because it'll be easier to see. Now, actually, let me do this. You'll notice at no time should my ankle do either one of those two things. Because the ankle bone doesn't do that. Trust me, I've had it happen a couple of times. It hurts a lot. Yeah, where are we at? P9 knee on.
P9 knee on.
How'd you make? More precise in the feet, but yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Wrong strong is better than weak and right. There we go. Good, now that. All right, not too bad. Not too bad at all. You started letting the brain engage a little bit. It happened. What happened up here with the, I don't know if it's a cat stance, I don't know if it's a front stance. I had a brain fart, sir. It happens. That's the answer to that question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Happens to everybody. I'll tell you a kind of funny story that happened recently because it's germane to this. Situations like that are part of the reason he either came up with or kept better wrong, strong, weak and right than weak and right. Make a decision, right or wrong, execute it. Hesitation will get you hurt. And here's the story. My boss, who I've known 15 years now, she is about this tall and about that big around, and she owns a 90-pound Labradoodle who is like cracked out on crystal meth half the time. He's so hyper. She went home for lunch middle of last week, opened the door, the dog comes bounding full bore at her just to be friendly and greet her. She said, I was standing there, I hesitated. I didn't know whether to go right, left, or back, and bam! The dog, full bore forehead, right above the knee. Her knee hyperextended back, and she broke the head of her fibula. All because it was, which way do I bam? Okay? Now, if she would have went one direction, the dog probably still would have hit that leg, but there would have been no weight on it. Would have been a better, okay? If she would have went the other way, the dog might have actually went between her legs and missed her completely. So either one would have been better than standing there going, which way do I bam? Okay? Same thing in sparring. Oh, I think I'm gonna throw, bam. That's when you get hit. Up here, what's the next stance? I don't know, do something. Funny story. When he was still doing tournaments, one of his tournament katas was Kushanku, which is a fairly elaborate kata. Our version is Kosokundai, which is Nidan kata, I think, for us. He went to a tournament, he's telling this story. He went to a tournament, got halfway through Kushanku, could not for the life of him remember what came next. He threw, this is when he still had knees, threw a head-high side kick, spun around, threw a head-high round kick. Kushanku came back to him. He finished Kushanku, won the gold medal. After the award ceremony, the people that he beat who knew Kushanku came up to him and said, those two kicks don't belong in Kushanku. And he's like, you're absolutely right. I brain farted and pulled that out of my butt and I still beat you. So that's the point. It could have easily just as went horribly wrong. They go, okay, that's not in there. But again, you do it so well, nobody knows you screwed up. Nope. Come on, please. Hajime. Yeah, man. Okay. We spent a whole lot of time talking about a whole lot of things, which you have incorporated successfully. Do not forget them. You're doing very well. But we've now went back to rote, one potato, two potato kata. So, to finish out the night, I want you to keep everything that we have talked about. The alignment of your legs and your ankles is much improved. I am feeling much more warm and fuzzy about your continued ability to walk when you're 60. Huh? But I want you to, for now, ananku, like you mean it. Whatever that means to you. And it doesn't mean I'm just going to speed up. I'm not going to get sloppy and all that. Take everything that you've incorporated tonight that we've talked about. Show me Brandon's kata, good power, good timing, like you mean it. Hajime. Quit thinking about it, just do it. Your legs are getting all wonky again. There we go, better. Keep going. Come on. Not bad. That's what I'm talking about. This time now, I want to see a little more power. A little more like you mean it. And again, don't get sloppy, don't get squirrely. Keep everything that you just did. We're just going to add a little bit to it.
Just
Hajime. Come here. Kina-san-da.
不要再了。
Hajime. Come here. Not too bad. Tell me the mistake that you tried to blend by me, but I just barely caught. What was it? Or did you even know you did it? Has nothing to do with that.
I believe when
No, has nothing to do with that. Do the beginning. Do the very beginning. Ah, young man. You. It was slick. You almost got it by me. That's what I'm talking about. It was a good enough technique. It wasn't until you went to make the turn, I'm like, why am I looking at his thumb? Huh? I didn't catch it here. I caught it on the next motion. So that's what I'm talking about. Wrong strong, better than weak and right. Better than you standing there going, ah, dang it, I screwed that up. Let me start up. That's BS. Okay? But that's what I'm talking about. Now, the parts that you are talking about, I know what you were feeling. You got a little quick and you're kind of blending things together a little too much. A little bit. A little more separation, a little more power in there. Okay? All right, again, Pina-sanda.
不要再了。
Hajime. Yeah, man. Better, much better. Okay, going down the eye. You hit the last hammer fist. You come over, you throw the left punch. You bring your feet on line. What are you doing there?
I would say restructuring yourself, sir.
I didn't hear.
Restructuring yourself.
Restructuring yourself? Okay, I will completely agree with those words if you can explain what they mean.
To prepare yourself for the next move.
Okay? In what way? So you're throwing the punch, you're in a left sanshin and a left punch. Do that. Left sanshin and left punch. Now, you bring your feet on line. You're restructuring yourself. Okay, I like that word. Not one I would have chosen, but I like it. If you can continue to explain it to me, I might borrow it and use it from now on. So, what exactly do you mean by restructuring here?
Researching myself to get, to prepare, to prepare to go to the next move.
Okay? All right? Okay. Why would you restructure yourself there in that way? Now, you're in a left sanshin and a left punch. Do that. Now, is there anything really preventing you from turning that way from right where you are? Could you turn and do the next motion without that restructure in a reasonable fashion?
Wait, so yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, of course you could. Okay? Right. So what do you think the kata is trying to tell us in the vein of your thought process that makes coming online different than doing what you just did, stepping around the back leg?
Well, for one, it makes it easier, so possibly, possibly.
Okay? Yeah, it is definitely is easier to turn. Absolutely. What else?
It could affect the opponent, sir.
Ah! How? Oh, your brain is so poking around it. I can see it. Now, get it from the frontal lobe out your mouth.
Punch.
Right.
And then
Right. Okay. Yes. Completely agree. But what does that have to do with the foot, though? Why are you restructuring the way that you're describing in that way right there?
that gives you advantage against your opponent.
Too general, specifically. You're right, but too general.
Don't know, sir.
Okay, that's an excellent answer. So, you've just punched this guy. Make the left punch and the left sanshin. Okay, so theoretically, he's in front of you. Theoretically, where are his feet? Yeah, it depends on how you hit him, but in general fashion. You threw a middle punch, you buried him up to your elbow in his belly. His head is where right now?
His head is in front of me.
Where, specifically?
Well, at least past
Put the
left.
punch out. Put the punch out. Where is his head right now?
Let's say something like that.
A little closer to your body, actually. If you hit somebody like right above the belly button, their head is going to be right about where your elbow is. This way. Okay, so that's where his head is. So where does that put his feet?
That puts feet-
Probably right about there. Okay. Probably, are they going to be this way, this way, this way? Where are they going to be?
What would you see?
Probably there's going to be one in front of the other because most people are not going to stand there and take a punch this way. Okay, if they're, whatever, this way. So when you come up online into Naifanchi, your feet do what? They make that half moon that we always make. So what does that lead you to believe is happening between your feet and his feet? You're hooking one. Absolutely. So do that. You're hooking behind. Now, the part that you're leaving out of the kata is that once I have done that, I am going to set my Naifanchi. I'm going to grip and roll. Grip the toes, roll the pelvis up. All right, just like you're trying to set a sanshin, you're going to set your Naifanchi there. Because when you do that, after you hook that foot, if you just hook it, okay. You set the sanshin. I don't know if you can see where my knees go. As I set this way, it actually pops that knee to that side. Throws his balance off, which takes his head from, here, now puts it here. Which what happens then? I grab that head and I show him somewhere else to go. So, I'm going to borrow your word. I will give you full credit in my citations. Restructuring. I like that. I'm going to keep that. So, you taught me that tonight. I like that word. Do not leave out that gripping at the end of the eye of Kinan Sandan. It is very, 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 very important. Yeah, we got time for one more. Pinan Sandan. One more time. Hajime. Yame. Pinan Sandan. Sandan. Hajime. Keep going. There you go. Wrong strong. Don't get sloppy. I want strong. I don't want sloppy. Better? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, man. Okay, better. Don't make your feet so wide there. They don't need to be. Your normal Naifanshi, like when you do a Naifanshi show, or Sanshin, that's the width you need to be. All right. We covered a lot of ground tonight. My head hurts. That's a good thing, by the way. Questions from you, comments, concerns, anything?
So just to so just an overview of what I should do better, what I should practice on. One, make sure the feet don't go wobbly, because I'm going to fix, if I do, I'm going to see what happens in 30 years. And I'll come back to you, sir. And think about the warning situation. And two, the flexibility, you said, sir?
No, not flexibility. Flexibility is whatever your flexibility is. I'm more worried about your structure. So yes, what you just said is, of all the things that we covered, if you take away one thing, I want you to take that away from tonight's class. Okay.
Three, live in the moment. That's a big one. That is a big one. You do not think forward and think back. And it's best to, I wouldn't say don't have the mind entirely there, but have part of it over.
That's a more in-depth conversation, but if that's how you interpret that, that's a good place to start.
Make sure it's not twist this way, it's twist this way.
Not on the heel, never on the heel. We're not Chinese. There you go. That way.
This way.
Yeah, that way.
And a few other minor touches around, such as
Don't make it that obvious that you're doing bunkai, but yes, that's what I'm talking about.
and don't forget to grip.
Always good. All right, excellent. Now, because I see some of the things that I struggle with in you, I'm going to say this now. Do not leave here frustrated. You did a fantastic job tonight. I threw a lot at you because you have it in you. You did great. You answered the question infinitely better than I was expecting. Okay, that doesn't take anything away from you. It just goes, I was expecting one good answer, and you gave me 2 levels above that good answer. Okay? So everything that we need from you is in you. You just need to get out of your own way, which is the same comment we all need. We all get in our own way constantly. So leave here being happy with the progress you made tonight. Don't go home and fester on you did something wrong or there's something that I need to fix or work on.
Trust me, that's a big habit of mine, not just here, but also...
I know, I can see it. Like I said, you and I are not wholly different. You and I share some similar traits, so I see that. So, okay, so go home, be happy, be proud.
Thank you, sir.
Get off my floor. What the next?